But the space to be in really is the mid-cap IT space. So now we have Mastech joining us. Remember, the company will acquire 29% stake in its subsidiary, Trans-American Information Systems, for about 218 odd crores. This will be via 137 crores in cash and 81 crores to be discharged by issue and allotment of fully paid up equity shares. Hiral Chandrana, who is the global CEO of Mastech, joins us now. Hiral, thanks so much for joining us. Can you first just give us the rationale for increasing your stake in this company? What will it take your overall holding to? And are you looking at any point in time to do more, a bigger purchase?
Thanks, Sonia. Good morning. I just wanted to recap a little bit. So Mastech acquired a company called Evosys last year. We actually acquired about 70% of that stake. So this is really a continuation of that. We had about 30% remaining. And so as communicated in multiple avenues before, the 10% of that is getting acquired in this quarter, and we'll acquire the remaining 10% and the last 10% in two more tranches, which is going to be next year and the following year. So it's really, from our perspective, it's just a continuation of our overall deal structuring that we had. It's actually been a really good win-win for us, where the growth and the EBITDA of the acquisition was tied to the whole process. And so it was a win-win for the founders. It was win-win for Mastech as we saw the growth in the Oracle Cloud business of Evosys. We continue to grow. So it's really, from a deal structuring perspective, just a continuation of what we were supposed to do this quarter.
Okay. I have to ask you about what's happening in terms of overall business, because now we've seen the Omicron variant completely ravage parts of Europe, including UK. And in the quarter gone by, you had faced some issues with the UK healthcare vertical, where the UK, government business was a bit slow. Do you think things could get worse now with the rising Omicron variant? And any, more color on how business has shaped up this quarter?
Sure. No, thanks, Sonia, for asking that. Actually, in October, when we announced our results, we did see a little bit of a dip on our business at NHS, which is the National Health Service. Things have progressed quite a bit in the last 2 months. We've actually announced publicly a large deal that I had indicated in our poster results. And so that has been completed. We actually have won 2 or 3 other mid-sized deals in NHS and a few other entities within the NHS umbrella. So it's actually, turned out to be a good, healthy quarter in terms of deal momentum. Same thing with the US. We have actually started winning larger deals, particularly in the SaaS cloud managed services. So where we differentiate in terms of other competition is our focus is really on the cloud and SaaS based managed services. So we've been actually, beefing up our potential out there and winning a few deals out there. We actually opened a nearshore center in Romania. So this is important from our Europe growth strategy. So beyond UK, we're also starting to see deal momentum in the Europe geography in a few sectors, in a few kind of countries, Nordics in particular, that cluster, and then France and Netherlands. So we're actually seeing fairly good all-round momentum in the business.
Okay, Hiral, hi, good morning. On the inorganic, front, what else? You have more acquisitions lined up, especially in the US. You had hinted about that.
Yes, I had indicated in our last discussion. We have been, we've actually scanned and evaluated about 50 or so assets in the last 3 months. We're in discussions with about a few of them in some level of detail. But we've got a very clear thesis around data automation, around cloud platforms and experience within the acquisition targets that we have. So it is going to be a company which will be having most of its presence in the US. That'll be our next acquisition. And but we're not rushing into it. We want to be very careful in terms of the cultural fit, the alignment with our overall cloud data and SaaS strategy. And that's something that's definitely upcoming here in the next few months.
Hiral, from a stock market point of view, the one sector which is holding things up really is the IT services space. There have been some doubts emerging on the cost side. on whether the demand itself is going to start to taper off a little bit. How strong are things as we wrap up the third quarter for the IT services space from a demand perspective, and the runway for more deals, not just for Mastek but overall?
Overall, sure. No, so Prashant, so what's happening is obviously you've talked about it in your show. There is the people and the talent labor shortage that has been across the industry, but there's inflation, there's supply chain challenges, there's obviously the variant, which is definitely a concern. But from a demand perspective, we're actually continuing to see, in the industry as a whole, actually, Accenture just announced results recently. So you'll see the demand environment continue to be strong. Now, customers, when we talk to different customers across various industries, as an example, healthcare and life sciences is one of those industry clusters that we are very, very focused on. And same with manufacturing or retail for that matter. There's definitely a lot more willingness to fast track the digital transformation and movement to the cloud. So that's really where our focus is. And while there are going to be some of these macro issues, I do not see that creating a dip in the demand environment. The decision making in some of the larger deals might slow down. There's a lot of land and expand. So we are focused, as an example, moving up market into a lot more Fortune 1000 customers compared to what we were before. And so some of those customers will take a little bit longer. But as a whole, in the industry, the demand environment is quite strong. In fact, we continue to see good pipeline and different types of deals where we are looking at interesting combinations of cloud and digital and data put together.
Sure. Just one final question on margins, because you have sort of indicated, or you've guided down for margins, and your margins have been coming off a little bit over the last many quarters. What are the big margin pressures that you see right now, and have you seen any easing of those pressures, or have things gotten worse?
Yeah, no, so Sonia, we've actually been very clear that while our margin currently has been in the 21% range, we're comfortable in the 20+% range. And this is mainly because we feel that there's a lot more investments that are needed. We've in fact hired quite a few new leaders in the last 2-3 months since I've joined. There is actually a head of global marketing who's going to join. She's going to join this week. We're focusing on innovation and platforms. We'll be making some announcements in that next month. And it's really about moving in more aggressively in the US market, continuing to win larger deals, moving up the value chain. So margins, we feel strong about our fixed costs, as well as, talent. Definitely labor costs are going to increase to some extent, but we feel comfortable about the 20% EBITDA range.
All right. Thank you very much, Viral. Great speaking with you. Appreciate you joining in and running us through all of that, your perspective, your take. Well, in a major setback for Amazon,